Hello, everybody. Welcome to another survival news episode. Today we are covering the weeks, or rather the days, between January 17th and January 23rd. We have a number of games that we're going to go through with quite a few updates, as well as a new survival game announcement. Pretty excited about that one as well. So let's get right into it. Our first update is coming from Ark, which on January 17th announced that its first kind of official, I guess, mod partnership for 2025 anyway. Astraios, we'll say that's totally how you pronounce it. This is a mod that was formerly created by a modder named Negatis. And this premium mod is going to be sponsored by Nitrado. And I guess it sounds like it was really just going to be kind of like just like its own little mod, but Wildcard has decided to make it an official partner DLC. So Astraios is going to launch on February 12th. It is going to cost $14.99. So it is a DLC kind of a way to think about it, really. They do kind of consider it a fully supported DLC. Instead of a premium mod, so kind of like an expansion in a way to Ark. It is around a 264 kilometer squared map that's available to all platforms, fully integrated into the main clusters of the official server. So you just got to buy the DLC, and then you can find the map on the official server for you to join. So there's going to be numerous updates to this mod as well, this DLC. So like after the game launches, Negatis said that the modder here said he's going to continue to shape the world, add new realms, updates, challenges that he considers worthy of the gods. So if you're kind of if you love Ark, but you love also maybe some ancient kind of Greek history, mythology, maybe take a look at this potential DLC. I'm sure Wildcard would like it because it sounds like they're kind of maybe potentially bleeding money. So I guess if we want an Ark too, right? But anyway, if it's interesting to you, there you go. February 12th is the date to look for that. And if you're not interested, well, we'll just keep on waiting for Ark 2, right? We have some news out of Palworld. On January 19th, they posted a kind of a vote for your favorite PAL event. So if you have a PAL that's your favorite, you can go vote for them. I have a link on where you can do that voting in the description of this video. So go ahead, support your favorite PAL. Why not? Have some fun with it. They also released this year 2025 roadmap, or future roadmap at the very least, of some of the things they are planning to bring to the game. So for their major updates, they're looking for the co-op crossplay so that players on the PC can play with players like on mobile, for example. That's something they'll be bringing in. They'll be bringing in world transfers for PALs. So I think you can maybe, what I'm getting from that is you can transfer your PAL from one world to the next. So if your friend is playing like on another world and you can't quite, and you have to go over there, you want to go play with them, you can bring your pals with you, so you don't have to start from scratch. They are going to be bringing in a world tree ending scenario, so if you're looking for kind of like an end to this pal world sort of story, very loose story, that is coming up. They're going to be looking at further ways to strengthen and improve pals, so kind of revamping some and be giving some more skills, different skills. They'll be bringing in various new content, such as new pals and technology, so hopefully you still have some technology points, because you're going to be needing them. And then, obviously, some game collaborations, which is really interesting. They mentioned Terraria. Who knows who else they'll do some collaborations with. That might mean, those kind of pals focused on those particular collaborations. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Very curious on that. And then, obviously, they plan on bringing in more improvements for the game. So, world object placement, base pals, optimizations, and UX. All of that as well. So pretty curious to see what we'll actually get and at what point as well. Now, besides all that, they also have released a free soundtrack on YouTube. So if you love the Palworld music, you can head over there and listen to it as much as you want. Aska, which is a game I definitely plan on doing some coverage on soon here, just letting it cook a little bit longer, has a kind of like a major update that players have been waiting for a while. On January 17th, they released an update that fixed their monster and animal respawn problems. I guess like some players were having some real issues where animals and monsters were not respawning, which is not always ideal. Hard to kind of like, survive when you don't have animals to hunt or monsters to, get resources from. So that was definitely a problem that players were having, but the studio has released an update that has allegedly anyway fixed that problem. So the dev team, Sand Sailor Studio, also said that its goals for 2025 was to release some pretty big updates with lots of new content, and they are really excited for their next big update, which they believe players are going to love. So I know I'm definitely got my eye on this game. Seems pretty like, fun for those who love their little Viking mythology. But yeah, so if you had problems with that, it's apparently fixed, so head back in there, have some fun. Out of Nightingale, they released a Dev Bite Episode 6, where the CEO and head of art direction, I believe anyway, talked a little bit about some of the updates coming to Nightingale. For one, they had a smaller update that, an upcoming smaller update, I should say, that is going to bring the engine to 5.4 on the Unreal Engine, which they tend to do because they like to kind of keep pace with Unreal Engine 5, and just because it gives them, I guess, a better, like a better performance, which then they can pass on to their players. They did say that some players might see some small performance gain with the switch to 5.4. At the very least, nobody should be seeing regressions, but if there is a problem that you notice with performance, they ask that you let them know in their Discord server. So besides potentially performance gains, the update also brings in fixes to augments as well as some NPCs. So if you notice that some NPCs were suddenly like disappearing, this update is supposed to fix that. So yay, no more disappearing NPCs, and we love that. Now they also talked a little bit about a bigger update that's going to come on down the line, which they're very excited about because it's supposed to bring in the Western, Old West kind of style tile sets. So if you're excited about that, if you want some more building kind of cosmetics and such, that is definitely an update to keep an eye out for. We also have an update for Medieval Dynasty. If you thought that Medieval Dynasty, the render cube, was done with the game, oh no, they are not done by far, it would seem. They released their 2025 roadmap, and in true teasing style, got us a little hint of what's to come in the first quarter, which is painting our town, so our various buildings. So that's pretty exciting for me. I mean, it's just another way to kind of customize your villages out there, so we're excited about that. And obviously they have more updates to come in the future, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that too. So if you're excited about that, let me know in the comments. Yeah, more content from Medieval Dynasty. I'm loving it. It's been a little while, but we have an update from Smalland Survive the Wilds. This is another game that I do plan on covering at some point. Again, I'm just kind of letting it cook a little bit longer, and it's a good thing I did because January 23rd, which is today, the day I'm recording this, they released their World Rebalance Update, and the World Rebalance Update was kind of it addresses some of these kind of like general user feedback the devs got. That was about enemies and their rather constant and sometimes overpowering attacks that just weren't quite fair, especially for solo players. So they kind of like went back and rebalanced those combat situations, their enemies, to make it, a little bit more fair, I would say, for people who are playing, solo or even just like with a friend or two. So it's a little less evil, I would say, wicked, mean to you. Now, besides that, they've also redistributed some resources just to kind of improve the gathering strategies, and to encourage players, obviously, to explore the map further, so things aren't, all just bunched up in one area. You gotta go out and explore a little bit more to get some of the various resources. So, not bad for that. That's kind of common sense for survival games, I would say. Now, the update also wanted to do kind of like revamp its onboarding for new players. So if you haven't played the game yet, there's a bit more of like a fine-tuned experience for you to kind of introduce the game and present challenges that won't immediately, get you murdered. So, so that is all that. Now, they also introduced some other quality of life features like the task log, stamina consumption when parrying, got basically a complete rework on that. When building, the game will fetch resources from nearby chests, so we're looking at, good old, what are they called? Universal storage kind of things, which is great. And aside from that, we have added elemental statuses. So, we have frost, poison, and fire as well damage to watch out for. They have improved antenna vision, which is kind of like a way, if I believe, it's been a while since I've played it, but I believe it's a way to kind of find resources and see enemies, I think, out there. So they've revamped that a little bit. And they've also added world setting sliders to tune enemies' spawning chances. So basically you can kind of make it more difficult or less difficult depending on, your preferences, as well as bringing in, obviously, a number of bug kind of punny because it's all about bugs fixes. So if you are still kind of on the fence about this game, this is a rebalance for it. I'll probably take a little look at it myself to see if it's a little bit fair, because being a solo player myself, it could be a little, this world was it was rather punishing. So that is the latest update out of Smalland. Love to see it. Now, if you tend to watch Top Blitz Productions, the publisher, they have a lot of Dynasty game, Medieval Dynasty being perhaps one of the more popular ones. They have also, I should say, they've revamped, if you will, going into a kind of new direction with their vampire game. So on January 23rd, today, for me anyway, they revealed that Vampire Dynasty is actually getting a brand new title. It's no longer going to be known as Vampire Dynasty. Instead, they're changing the name to Vampires Bloodlord Rising. But other than that, it's more or less, like kind of the same thing as any other kind of Dynasty game. So they basically revealed that the latest update that they have brought to the game, and keep in mind this is not even out on early access yet, so they're doing a lot of changes to it already, which is very interesting. So they revamped the title. They have redesigned certain, visual designs and details and character design. I guess the main character here that we're playing, I guess he has like a new look, so that's pretty cool. Dragos, I believe, is his name. So he's a totally new look, especially with regards to his facial features, his attire, and they made those changes because they believed it kind of fit more with his aristocratic background, I suppose. And, for all that. So, besides that, they have updated the HUD design, which they believe is not only, a lot more aesthetically pleasing, but a lot more functional, which is always good. It introduces more of, a gothic look and tone, which obviously we're going for that, right? Vampires, we gotta do some good old gothic times. Unless, obviously, we're doing Vampire the Masquerade, which in case, entirely different world. They've also revamped gameplay elements. They've expanded on them with a particular focus on managing the subjects. So from now on, we will be able to romance some transformed vampires. We can send them off to hunt and even perform powerful rituals with them. So kind of keeping in with that Dynasty thing where we're kind of managing a town. Sort of the same thing here. They'll be managing certain things for us. And they also brought in a new lighting model, which is basically for them they think it's made a big difference by the way the game looks, and is an improvement on the previous lighting system. So that's allowed certain details, especially smaller details like the grass, the fog, water, all that has been improved both on their own and because of the lighting model. So that's pretty exciting. They're bringing in some new interesting things for here. I'm really excited for this game. Love me some gothic, vampire times. Love me some Medieval Dynasty. So mixing those two together, real excited to see what they have in store for us. But that is kind of the major thing there. No longer Vampire Dynasty. Now we got to start calling it Vampire Bloodlord Rising. We have a new survival game announced called Bushcraft Simulator. So I guess it's kind of like a simulator game in a way, but it definitely features heavily with survival elements. This game is being developed by a team called A2 Softworks. and being published by Ultimate Publishing or Ultimate Games. The key features of this game, we're going to be looking at immersive wilderness. It says experience dynamic weather, day-night cycles, and diverse wildlife in a richly detailed natural environment. There's an authentic crafting system where we will gather resources to create tools, clothing, and shelters that reflect real-world bushcraft techniques. So if you have an interest in that, some actual maybe not, exactly 1-to-1 ratio, like survival, survive in real life stuff, but, it could give you some ideas, get you started in the right direction, how to, build these things and survive in the actual woods on your own. There's going to feature survival mechanics, so we're going to have to obviously do our typical managing our hunger, our thirst, our energy. We'll have a temperature system. While facing, obviously harsh conditions, unpredictable hazards, so good stuff there. There's an adaptive skill progression, so we can level up our bushcraft expertise by completing tasks, discovering new methods, upgrading our gear, and there's going to be a sandbox and a challenge mode. We can choose between both open-ended exploration or specific survival scenarios that will test our wits, and which is what I have a feeling is this kind of like the spooky sort of things that we're seeing here. A little bit more of a spooky story, I guess. So you'll have the two modes there that you can play around with. Now, it's planning to launch in early access at some date. We don't know when exactly, but, it could be a potential interest for those who are looking for, I feel like, in a way, kind of return to the basics of, your very, I don't want to say generic, because they obviously have a story going on here, but kind of like your basic survival game of just getting back to the roots, right? Along with, obviously, some spooky, potentially Blair Witch Project stuff on the side. Why not? We all need that. But yeah, so Bushcraft Simulator. We'll keep an eye on that, and if there's any updates in the future, you can expect them here. But that is the end of this week's survival news for all your survival game information. Check in next week, and we'll see what we got. Thanks for watching. Until next time, do please keep surviving and keep thriving.